We have two gravel bikes here. One of them is over 4 times the price of the other. But is it 4 times better? I'm surprised you lift that one up. That's the question we're going to answer in today's video, and this will also be a nice look at what about £1,800 gets you in 2023 in terms of gravel bikes. Why are you so far away? Are you going to ride it?
Well, I've just been riding it, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
No, let's just test it in here.
Oh shit, the car. We're looking at my Scott Addict Gravel tuned. This is custom built, carbon frame, SRAM red, electric, wireless, everything. The bee's knees. And this Scott Speedster Gravel alloy frame, GRX components, 10 speed, looks quite cool. So let's dive into the spec of the first bike. This is my personal Addict Gravel tuned. It's a carbon gravel specific frame. Tuned means it's a higher grade of carbon fiber than some of the other offerings from Scott. When you buy the frame, you get a carbon seat post, headset, fork. What's not included are the carbon one-piece bars that I have on here. These are made by Synchro, so Scott's sister company. They are called Creston IC SLX. The wheels are also carbon fiber, Parcours Altas set up tubeless with Hutchinson Tyres, carbon fiber saddle, Cell Italia Boost SLR. There's also a lot of carbon fiber on the group set. We have SRAM Red / Eagle mix. It's a mullet style group set, so half mountain bike, half road, which is great for gravel because it gives you a big range of gears. Ludicrously expensive disc rotors. These are £108 a pop, and well, they're consumable, so I try not to use my brakes too much. Garmin Rally power meter pedals, and then finished off with Silka lovely bar tape. Lovely. It is. It's lovely. How is this so dirty already? Versus the Speedster Gravel. Alloy frame, carbon fork, 10 speed, mechanical GRX, which is a gravel specific group set. Alloy bar and stem, both from Synchros. Seat post and saddle, both made by Synchros, also alloy. Synchros Race X25 wheels and Schwalbe G1 grip. Bite. Weirdly enough, these are tubeless ready wheels and tubeless ready tyres, but they don't come set up tubeless. And we're going to keep this bike exactly how it arrived. Finished off with some Shimano SPD pedals that I had in my kitchen. You ready for the first studio test? You are ready. I think there's going to be a massive difference in weight.
There definitely is. This isn't a heavy bike, but well, it is a heavy bike, but it's not a heavy bike.
But that one.
That bike is ridiculously light.
Yeah.
Offensively light, I would say, for a gravel bike. I've definitely broken it. This bike weighs...
With pedals.
What does it say?
I'm out of focus. 11.14 kilograms.
Is that what 11.14 kilos feels like? Wow, all of my bikes must be so heavy. I think this bike...
Hang on a second.
No, I'll leave it on.
No, take one. Oh, I'll take the head unit off as well.
Right.
Yeah, make it a fair test.
What is it? What's the verdict?
8.2.
What? That's a road bike. How?
Like 45mm tyres.
Look at the size of that cassette. I'm honestly upset. I'm offended that you have a gravel bike that weighs 8.2 kilos.
It should be that light for 8,000 quid.
How is it that light? Look how beefy it is.
Weight test. We're going to ride up that massive hill.
I'm not looking forward to this, to be honest. That looks pretty gnarly.
Well, we've just done one little climb, so now we can swap. You can have a light bike. Yeah?
I like it. This is a good arrangement.
Oh, you do notice the difference straight away. But the crank's longer on this.
It is a completely different ride.
Yeah.
Like, we're going uphill, but this actually feels more pleasant than that on the flat.
You reckon? This is a steep, probably 15% at the worst, off-road climb. I was about to use the word gravel then. It's not gravel, it's mud. Oh, I'm slipping.
This bike is absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe how much of a difference there actually is. I thought I was going to be the one that was like, get the cheap bike, you won't notice the difference. But this bike is immense. It really is. It's so good. I'm so unfit. And it just flies.
Can I have it back? I think that's it. Jimmy's dead. He's got it forever. Now, despite being on this bike, I can still keep up. With the risk of sounding really obvious, it's the rider, not the bike. If you're fit, doesn't matter what bike you're riding, but in terms of ride feel, there is a big difference. I mean, that just feels premium. Tyres are better as well, and I reckon a lot of that is down to these. We're running these not tubeless, and you can't run super low pressures because you might end up pinch puncturing. So I was a bit nervous of that running in the tubes. That bike, you can run super low pressure. They're basically mountain bike tires, tiny bit narrower, so you can put like 20 psi in. There's no risk of puncturing. See that? I'm this out of breath, you're that out of breath. Scientific test.
I can't believe how good this bike is. I honestly can't. We chatted about this, and we both came to the conclusion that I think I said this would be like half a time better. It's like 1.5
better than this one. Yeah.
Or 0.5 better, 50% better. It's easily double. Like, it's more than double. I can't believe it. I never thought I was going to be that person. I thought I'd be always like, get the cheap one or the cheaper one. Get the cheap one because it's as good.
Stay tuned for the full verdict at the end of the video. What's up next? Brake test. I'm not sure how it's going to go because in my experience, Shimano brakes are better than SRAM, but this is the lower end GRX. Oh! 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 Hey! Those are my actual nice tyres, mate.
I love how defensive you get if you're doing skids on these bikes.
As predicted, these are super powerful, but there is one observation that I have. They don't feel very nice, the SRAM red ones, and these feel really nice. I get that this is subjective, but that is spongy, and that is not. And they are both bled and set up correctly. Shimano ones just feel nicer. The modulation is nicer, in my opinion.
I'm the other way.
Do you?
I quite like that it's like soft and
squashy.
Well, yeah, it's nice.
It's not.
It's like ooh, rather than.
I think for a premium group set, it's £2,500 SRAM red. I would expect better than that. The Shimano ones, even at the lower price point, they all feel just as good. They're not carbon in your hands like the top end GRX, but the brakes are so good, mate.
I think what we can agree on is GRX, SRAM equivalent and above hydraulic brakes brake really well.
They don't need to be any better.
Yeah,
they are like, lock up your wheels.
They're all immense.
Brilliant.
So like they all stop really well, and it just comes down to what you feel. Personally, ergonomics wise, I prefer the SRAM ones. I think they look better as well.
Both of the bikes have 160mm rotors front and rear, so it's as close to as a fair test as you can get.
Here's a question.
Yeah?
How did you find the grip on those tyres on going up the hill and coming down it?
They were fine, but they're not as good as those, but they're not as wide as those.
What's the difference between them?
5mm and a different tread and much lower pressure.
There was not a single moment where I was concerned about grip.
They're really good tyres, but they're just not set up tubeless. So for a small fee at a bike shop or a small bit of effort at home, you could set these up tubeless and they would be significantly better. What are you waving to?
Golfers? If you make friends with golfers, they won't hit you with golf balls.
Now, geometries for both of these frames are almost identical. So you're getting the same sort of head angle, same level of aggressiveness compared to the road frames that I have from Scott. They are more relaxed, so they'd actually make a nice comfortable endurance bike as well if you were to put road tyres on them. Essentially, this is an alloy version of that bike that Jimmy's riding now. I've decided there's a thing that I really don't like about that bike.
What's that?
Handlebars.
There is something horrible about them, isn't there?
When I was setting them up, we couldn't work out whether to put them with the bore end further around and then these sticking up, but then they're like classic drop bars. They're just a weird shape. They are, however, flared, which is a good thing for gravel, I think.
Bars and saddles are...
personal preference,
yes.
I get that.
I have a bar that I use on all of my bikes.
Yeah.
Not one bar, like a few versions of it.
Things I would change off the bat if I was to buy this, which I have, which I will change. I did actually buy this bike. The handlebars, they're just not long enough drop. You slide off them. Look, when you're on descents, and there's just not enough to grab hold of here. Whereas these, you can't even adjust these, but they're way longer, much nicer to hold. And the saddle, definitely changed that straight away as well. I don't think many people can get on with a saddle without a cutout through the middle, a pressure relief channel.
I was surprised how bad...
I'll be changing that straight away.
I was surprised how bad it is. It'll do. It would do. I could ride it, but like getting on that is just instantly more comfortable as a saddle.
Most people get on with these.
On the subject of bars though, I want to bring it back to that. Not only is the position weird, this tape is hideous.
Slippery.
It is. It's just like you may as well not have it on there. You'd be better with just like electrical tape. Well, it'd be the same effect. Whereas this tape, granted, it's unbelievably expensive and I would never, ever buy it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yes, it is exceptional tape. That felt quite slippery. Was that slippery?
I was slipping as well.
Okay.
I feel like you were slipping more than me.
I felt like I was. I didn't get around one of the corners. This is very uncomfortable. On this terrain, it's so bumpy, it's all just bashing through me. Double the pressure in your tyres. I reckon that's what it is. This bike absorbs so much more that you can just ride through stuff. Whereas that one, you hit things. Exactly. It impacts you so much, you just have to slow down, don't you?
Now this is a small risk. You have to ride more carefully if you go lower pressure. So much of what Jimmy's talking about with the comfort can be solved with tyres that are bigger and at lower pressure. Oh, scary dog.
Should have gone tubeless.
Should have gone tubeless. That's better. Oh! Jimmy!
What?
I told you lowering the pressure would be a bad idea.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah. Should have gone tubeless. We've ridden for quite a long time now, Jimmy. And the sun is setting. You know what I haven't noticed?
What?
Lack of gears. I know I've got a double on the front, but I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna feel as if 10 speed compared to 12, which I've been riding for the last few months. You don't notice the difference?
Nah, definitely not between that.
At all.
I tell you what you do notice the difference between though.
10's a lot.
Is 1x and 2x. I much prefer 1x for off-road.
Why?
Because you just find the front neck just, you have to start looking at chain line and you end up cross-chaining and it just gets annoying. I think when you're off-road, the amount you have to change is just so much like quicker and more often.
It is more often, yeah.
So whereas like on a road, you know, double is the one, as far as I'm concerned. But off-road, you know, 1 minute you're going up a muddy bank and you need an easy gear, then you're flying down the other side and you're doing this and that. It's just nice being able to go up and down chunks of a big cassette.
How did you get back here with a puncture?
Wheelie. I want to find out how tubeless they've actually made these. Because obviously they're not going to supply the bike with sealant in the cardboard box, are they?
No, of course not.
So you can't be angry at them for supplying it with an inner tube.
Did it come with a tubeless valve?
No. The answer is, what is that?
That's not tape.
That's just normal rim tape.
Yeah. The wheel can be run tubeless.
Yes, but they haven't even taped it. So you'd have to get tape, valve, sealant, and then do a setup, ideally with a pump with a chamber in it, or at a bike shop where they can just go and you've got the thing.
How much do bike shops normally charge for tubeless setup?
I don't know, you'd ask Nick. Probably
20 quid a wheel?
Probably 20 quid.
That's per wheel.
Yeah, per wheel.
Isn't it? Yeah. Francis, stop messing around with those tubes. Let's conclude this video.
Let's do it.
Which one's better?
The expensive one is better.
Without a doubt.
Is it 4 times better? No.
What, is it 4 times the price?
Yeah, over 4 times the price.
So much more money. See, this is where it gets so hard, because if you can have the more expensive bike, you absolutely should, because it is phenomenal to ride. It is absolutely amazing to ride. I genuinely was blown away at how much better it was to ride than the cheap one. However, do I need to spend more than the £1,800 or whatever it is on the cheaper bike? Absolutely not. You do not need it, but if you can afford it, why not?
But you need to afford more than just the cost of the bike. Riding bikes off-road wears out parts even faster than you'd be wearing them out if you were riding road. So chains, cassettes, tyres, all these consumable parts, you're going to be getting through at a faster rate. And on that bike, the cassette on its own, over £400. It's going to cost you more every single time you replace those parts. So you need to factor that in. Of course, there's a sweet spot. You can go for lower end stuff. In fact, the chain on this bike is a slightly lower down version. It's a little bit heavier. Are you going to notice a difference? No. If you want to keep it the best of the best, then you're going to be spending a lot of money.
The group set is the negotiable. If you took your Scott gravel bike and put a cheap group set on it, it would still be a phenomenal bike, and it would be better than the lower price one.
It would still be light.
It would be light, it would be nippy, the brakes would still be amazing, because there's that, as we were saying, with the hydraulic brakes, they're all pretty good now.
In today's video, we didn't have a bike which was in the middle of these two. I reckon £3,000. Why are you laughing? I want a £3,000 bike. Let's make a £3,000 bike. I bet the difference in between a £3,000 bike and an £8,000 bike.
I think so too.
One more thing I wanted to comment on. That GRX group set, it's about £400 to buy, depending on if you get it with brakes and all that stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, 10 speed. I liken it to the group set that I used to race on, Ultegra 10 speed.
Yeah.
It was one of my first proper race bikes, had that on. I reckon it's about the same deal. and it's a lot cheaper these days. So the price of group sets, not the same, by the same name, but in terms of performance, I think has come down quite a lot. Obviously, this is a separate topic for another video, another day, but I think if you're looking at, you know, GRX, the lower end GRX these days, or Tiagra these days, is Ultegra from a few years back, which is a fantastic group set. And I think these mid-range group sets, because that's what Shimano consider Tiagra and Sora to be, they're not entry level, they are mid-range. I think they are overlooked, and I would like to test some more. That was a really fun video to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. This was a fairly new format for us, so let us know if you have any comments or criticisms in the comment section down below. Equally, let us know what bikes you're riding and what group sets, and what you think of them in that comment section too. Thank you for watching. See you guys soon.